Hello folks, I'm Brian Manzella. There's been a lot of talk recently about the struggles that Tiger Woods is having with his short game. Sometimes having problems even making solid contact on chips, pitches, and shots up to 30 yards. Tiger's talked about being caught between release points or totally different patterns of hitting these shots. I'm going to show you what Tiger's talking about, how it can be difficult to be caught in between those ideas, and some concepts that would help Tiger as well as you hit some of the best shots you've ever hit around the green. There's certainly a lot of different ways you could classify the short game, but for simplicity's sake, I'm going to try to lump everything into two categories. Category one, which is what you're going to see mostly if you go to your local golf course and watch somebody hit a little 20 or 30 yard shot. They're going to set up to the ball. They're going to take the club back more or less on plane. They're going to have their hands come a little bit out. It's going to make the club go a little bit more in. It's going to lay down. The face is going to open somewhat. And then from there, they're going to go ahead and go with the ball. Then the second category would be the category where the hands go a lot more in, the club stays more out, and the face doesn't rotate as much. Now from the front view, you're going to see people hit shots with both backswings, short follow through, sort of up the left arm look, and more of a long follow through, a little more of a toss using the bounce. So what Tiger's talking about is when he used to let the club go around his body and open the club face more, there was a point in that swing that he could start tossing this out to the ball, whether he was hitting a little hold shot or more of a full release, use the bounce shot. Then he went to a more hands in, less open position, and from there, there's a little different change of directions needed to have something to go ahead and bring to the ball. If you get caught between the two, you can be very confused and have one of the greatest short game practitioners of all times having trouble on just basic contact. So the concept that I would like to try to instruct everybody today to understand is there is a center of mass of this golf club, sort of about where the balance point of the club is and then down a little bit. What you're gonna have to do is at some point in a short shot, you're gonna have to get that balance point on the other side of your hands so you have something to go ahead and torque and swing and release out to the ball. When you get the club to go around you, it's very easy to get that balance point behind your hands. It's almost impossible not to. And then of course there'll be a little change of direction, add to that, and then you just toss it out. It has a certain feel to it. Just sort of like a back and forth swing. I'm just swinging the club back and forth. I'm just gonna walk into the ball and hit it. Okay, but that back and forth swinging motion would be very difficult with the hands outside the club head takeaway. The people that are the best at those kind of short shots around the green, Jim Furyk comes to mind right off the top of my head, is they're gonna have a little float in the change of direction. And even if those hands and that balance point are sort of, I'm gonna give you a little 45 view, more or less lined up and the balance point is not behind the hands, Furyk's little loop puts it behind the hands and gives him something to bring to the ball. I think when Tiger has hit the shots the worst, he just has that balance point sort of lined up with his hands and has nothing to hit with. That makes you do a little something funny down by the ball. One of the best ways to, I think, to get out of this is to do what's called a lagging club head takeaway. You don't have to do it when you're actually hitting pitch shots, but I think learning it as a drill is really helpful. What the old players did with hickory shafts is they generally stepped on their right foot and got their hands to move ahead of the club head a little bit, and that sort of drag back gave them a little bit of a drag through feel, and it really exaggerated the change of directions. You knew you didn't have anything to hit with here, so you would wait and sort of float in space and wait for your weight and your body to change direction and get the handle ahead of that balance point and give you something to toss out. Swinging the club back and forth will help that too. But remember folks, at some point in a short shot around the green, you're gonna have to get the center of mass of that club behind your hands so that you have something to release to the club, whether it's full release like a lob shot or a little skinny pitch and run sort of grabber tour pitch, or more of a hit and hold shot off of a bare lie. Keep that balance point, or get that balance point behind your hands, and then you can get it back lined up with your hands for crisp, solid impact and great results around the green.